Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises and glory to
Yahawah,
Hasham, Yahawashi, Hasham, Bakafadash.
And double honor to the apostles of great millstone. And as you should know, we're the Israelites. And we out here to teach this truth, as always, you know. So yes, yeah, hit me with it, brother.
This is Psalms 105 and 7. He is the Lord Yahawah, while Yahawashi our power. His judgments are all in the earth.
Absolutely, his judgments is all in the earth. What is that talking about? Meaning, all of the tragic incidents that you see going on in the world. Now, you know, one may say, well, some of them may be cyber attacks or whatever, but it's really all in the Lord's will. Or it may not be a cyber attack. It could be an accident. Somebody got ran over by a bus inside their car, and you know, a couple of people. I mean, let's just say there's 4 people in the car, and 2 people were injured and 2 died. You know, that's the Lord's judgments, or one of the Lord's judgments that is taking place on the earth. Or you could be on a bus, a double-decker bus, and the shit's on fire, and you have nowhere else to go. Or the bus can just tip over, you know, and the car's right next to it, and it falls right on top of the car. So those are the Lord's judgments, man. So, you know, we're in that time where, you know, anything that's capable of happening, and everything is happening. And it's all due to the Lord's judgment, and also good things too, you know. Go on, brother.
This is the book of Nahum 1 and 3. The Lord Yahawah, while Yahawashi is slow to anger.
Yeah.
And great in power.
Right.
And will not at all acquit the wicked.
And would not at all acquit the wicked. And the Lord has to be slow to wrath due to him fulfilling everything that's written therein according to the scriptures. So, you know, the prophecies have to play out, and we're seeing that. You know, we're seeing, you know, prepared famines is getting ready to take place. We're seeing people complain about this and complain about that, protesting it, and in some cases rioting. And it's all going to lead up to one thing and one thing only, which is what the powers that they want. And they want nothing but anarchy so that they can come down with martial law. And this is why you had this incident that occurred, a couple of days ago, where you had this Jake. He was supposedly shot in the back 7 times or so. And they found him on the floor with blood all over the place. And the police is like, you know, helping him to breathe or whatever. And I'm looking at it like the dude's already dead. He lost too much blood. I mean, he can't get back up from all of that blood wasting. He's dead. He got it like he was dead. Or it could have been a staged event.
Right.
You know? Could have been a staged event. It could have just been a dummy. You know? But yeah, it's all a part of getting people, you know, rattled up, mainly the tribes. And so that eventually they can get to working on the tribes, because that's what they want to get rid of eventually. It's the tribes.
Right,
that's just a part of the one world order system or agenda. You know, go on, brother.
The Lord Yahawah, while Yahawashi have his way in a whirlwind and in a storm, and a cloud to the dust of his feet.
Right, in the cloud to the dust of his feet. So he has a way in the whirlwind. In other words, he brings earthquakes and you know, different things such as that nature, as what Esau calls natural disasters. But there's going to be a nuclear whirlwind that's going to take place on this earth due to a nuclear war. Well, I'll tell you what we could do, brother, since that I was speaking about what I was speaking about. Get me the book of Believers in Jeremiah, where it says the Lord will set a nation against a hypocritical nation, something to that effect. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can.
Isaiah 10 verse 5.
Yes, okay. Get Isaiah 10 and 5. The water, brother. So this is what the Lord is preparing out here. The Lord is preparing judgment on the 2/3, because the 2/3, as the scripture says, they can't be converted. You know, so those that can't be converted, they gotta go, because they're gonna bring that corruption along with them in the kingdom, and the Lord ain't trying to allow that. Go on, brother.
This is Isaiah 10 and 6. I will send him against a hypocritical nation.
Yeah.
And against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge.
Yeah, because you know, when you understand something about Jake, they're all a bunch of hypocrites. Most of them are hypocrites, because they'll talk a good game, but they won't apply the game that they're talking. You understand? And it's like, there's all kind of videos of us telling Jake what to do and what not to do, and specifying it. You know, we're not just cursing him out. We're literally telling him what the situation is, and if you don't follow and take heed to what we're doing here, which is the only and one way, then you're going to be destroyed. You understand? Like there's no point in voting as well as protesting. You're not going to change the world with that. This is going to change the world, so we gotta get with this. Well, you guys gotta get with this because we already get with it. We already got with it. Go on, brother.
Isaiah 10:6, I will send him against a hypocritical nation.
I will send him against a hypocritical nation. That's talking about Esau being sent by the the prime minister or the president, whatever you want to call him. You know, they're going to send these troops down because it's a part of their agenda and it's something that they have to do because the shadow government is telling them what to do. The prime minister really holds no genuine power, but only the the 5% at the very top. So if the guys at the very top that are in secretive positions and they have something mapped out and planned out for the prime minister or the president to fulfill, they got to fulfill that. They can't go against that, otherwise they could be assassinated. Just like what's his name, man? The guy that got assassinated during the 60s.
Kennedy.
Yeah, John F. Kennedy. Okay, they killed him because he was going against the grain. So all of these prime ministers, they gotta go with the game. If they don't go with the game, they could lose their life. Or if not, if they do something else that may not be so major, they can make them look bad. Make them do something to use against them in the future, just like how they do these celebrities. Go on, brother.
And the staff in their hand is mine indignation.
Right, and the staff in his hand, right? Yes, Salaki, brother. Go on.
I will send him against a hypocritical nation, against the people of my wrath. Will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey?
Right, to take the spoil and to take the prey. So the Lord is going to give them a charge to do exactly what they're going to do to Jacob. And not just Jake, but these Edomites too, because you got a lot of Edomites that are rebellion spirited as well. So they got to get rid of them as well. But mainly this is going to be based on Jacob's trouble. That's what all of this is culminating into.
Yeah.
And you see, what is it? What's the guy that got choked out? What's his name, man? George Floyd.
George Floyd.
And then you got this other individual that was declared shot down. You know, which that could have been a staged event, such as the George Floyd event. Yeah. You know, that's just to get Judah roused up, as the scripture says in Genesis 49. Go on, brother.
Yeah, because he's Jacob, and one brother said Jacob's trouble.
Yeah, his name was Jacob too.
Yeah, so we're beginning of Jacob's trouble, and Blake breaks down to black. What brother said?
Yes, yeah, Blake means black. Yep.
Yeah, just the little symbolisms there, you know.
Yeah, that's funny. You figure that out because I did the research on the word Blake, and it means black. So his name was Jacob Blake, referring back to us. You see, because the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they're so-called black people, mainly pointing to Judah or the kingdom of Judah, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
To take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets.
Yeah. And what happened during Masada, around the 7th to the 8th decade, I believe it's the 7th decade AD. During that time, we already know the history of what the Romans did to the Jews at the time. So much to the point where you had many of them had to flee and go somewhere else. But you had a reasonable bulk of them that stayed in and died. So the same similar thing is going to happen on this side of the spectrum, because what they did to Israel back then, what they did was they took away their food, and that's another way going, brother.
It's Deuteronomy 28 and
well, I know what you go.
49.
Yeah.
The Lord Yahawah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Yeah.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Yeah.
A nation of fierce countenance.
Right, a nation of fierce countenance, because who uses the eagle? The symbolism of the eagle goes back to the Edomites, which happen to be the so-called white people today. If you were to deal with the Greeks, you would deal with the Roman Empire, they all used the same animal symbolism, which was the eagle, and they use it down there as well.
Shalom.
And America is known as what she's not known as, but America uses the same symbol in itself.
What's that? What?
That's Esau's symbol right there. Go on, brother.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Yeah, because when they approached us, we were speaking our language, they were speaking their language. Go on.
A nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of the old.
Yeah, Esau don't give a damn about the youth, man. He's actually having sex with the youth. He's having sex with 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. It don't matter, man. He's doing him. Esau's doing him. That's why they're finding and exposing these individuals like Joel Epstein and the likes. They finding out that the pedophiles and all the above. So we're in an age and time where Esau is being exposed, and how you have missing children that are being used for their own their own pleasure and stuff of this nature.
Yeah.
And this is why you have people
8,000 a year.
Buckingham Palace chatting about leave our kids alone or whatever they was chatting.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So people are waking up. But we've been talking about this way beforehand. It's just that now people are kind of getting up to steps as to what's going on, or has been going on for years. Go on, brother. And this is why you have a lot of people, or grown-ass men, Edomite men that are into children, because the people at the very top are the same way. It says that in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon.
Yes.
So is the judge, so is the people. I'm roughly paraphrasing. As the judge is, so is the people. So if the judge or the king is a certain way, that vibration is going to rub off on the ones that's below him. Okay? And that's why you have all of this situation going on. Like in the scriptures, it says that when the kingdom is set up, this is what it's talking about, kids are going to be playing in the streets. So when the kingdom is set up, we don't got to worry about no weirdos looking at our 8 or 9-year-old children. We ain't got to worry about that, because we going to have our kingdom in the way that we're going to have it, and it's going to be based on the laws, statutes, and commandments. But right now, man, shit, if you got a kid, you better stick close to your kid, because you got people out there that's looking to take their kid and fantasizing and having sex with your child.
Yeah.
8-year-old kid, man, 5-year-old kids, Edomites.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's how it is in this society, man. That's why you got those people protesting, because they're shitting themselves and they want to like, man, we got to stop this pedophilia business because it's running rapid. We even got regular Edomites that hardly ain't got no money. They want a child, man. They want to molest the kid. You know? So I mean, you got to worry about the big boys doing it, and you got to worry about the small boys doing it among you. So you know, in this kind of environment, you got to watch your kids, man, because there's so many cases, man, of adults coming out on the YouTube or on some kind of YouTube channel talking about how they were sexually abused at the age of 8 or the age of 5. There's so many cases, man. You'd be surprised how many people you walk past that can tell you a story. Go on, brother.
Yeah,
They do lectures on it's a mental illness, and they're lecturing to have sympathise with them. And over in Australia, they made it a law now for children, if they've been molested and the person's been caught and charged, it's illegal for the children to speak out about it.
Really?
Now there's a law over in Australia.
But you know why? Because if let's just say if adults talk about it that were victims of abuse, man, there'd be a whole lot of cases, man. The whole of Australia, you would find that were sexually abused. Yeah, so it's good. It would embarrass the country as it stands. That's why they're saying, look, don't talk. They passing a law and don't talk about it.
Yeah.
What age?
Children.
Can't talk about it.
Yeah, they got like a poster where he's some paedophile and he's got his mouth over a child like that, hushing the children. That's the image that they've got put out now. It's illegal. It's legal now, illegal to speak out, for children to speak out that they've been arrested by somebody. If they've been caught and charged, because the parent, I think automatically that if the child goes to the parent and the parent it's down the road, the guy's down the road. Because I remember this was years ago, because the sex offenders database, and they can't make it legal, or they can't publicise. If you got a paedophile living down the road, it's secret, but it's on the database. So there's many people on their roads, they don't know there's paedophile. We know anyway, we're living in Babylon, we know. I can sense I look at certain people and I just think, boy, that could, you know. But that's why they want to keep the children quiet.
Yeah.
Because that person is going to be a target in
Yes.
the area.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons.
And another thing
yeah.
too, because the people that's dealing with the kids on the sexual tip, they're in high positions of this world. They're governors, they're lawyers, they're judges, these kind of folk. And then you got to deal with these regular peons that's potentially messing with the kids. So people are just like, you know what, fuck it. We gonna do the protesting, and we gonna protest the way we see fit because we're sick and tired of this shit. Yeah. So
it's a serious problem. If Esau's protesting, that's how you know it's serious.
it's bad, man. It's bad. It's real bad. Hey, yeah, we got.
It was a continuance on Deuteronomy 28:4.
Yeah, read that again. Come on.
The Lord Yahawah shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Yeah.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
And Esau is very fierce. Like when you see an actual Edomite and you look at him in his face, and this is why a lot of them look down, because they don't want you to really look at them, because they know that you may see through them. You know what I mean? And that's why they always look down. They don't really want to look at you like that, because they know who they are, and they don't want you to know who they are. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is what's real out here. But that's what you got to do when you're dealing with people. You got to examine who you're dealing with out here, because people out here, man. I'm telling you, people are crazy out here. That's why the best best way to be is to be by yourself. Like society have always told us, oh yeah, you gotta get, you can't be anti-social, and you gotta get out there and build with people, which they're correct, because that's how you get things to go, to happen. The only way you make things happen is that you do have to deal with people. But at the same time, you can't just be dealing with anybody, man. You gotta deal with people that are like-minded. You can deal with people, but deal with people that's on your level. You don't need to be dealing with just any old body because they cool or whatever. The coolest person may be a weirdo, man.
Yeah.
You understand? And like I said, going back to the kids situation, I mean, there's many people that's walking past you or you work with that can tell you, look, I've been abused, man. I've been sexually abused, and there's a lot. And what we're also finding out, even the young boys are getting just as molested as the girls are.
Yeah.
Because years ago we were told, we were taught to believe that it's just the girls. Society was just putting it out like, oh yeah, it's just the girls getting abused there and there. But there's a lot of dudes out here that have been abused just as well as the women have. And when you really understand something, we've all went to school, etc., man, and it's so bad that even us, we could have been touched. When you're dealing with the ratio of how many adults or children that have been abused, I mean, the ratio is just off the wall, man. And then at the same time, you got people out there that's trying to get with children, as I'm speaking right now. So it's bad, man. It's bad. But this is Esau's, vicinity. This is his place where he does all of this stuff.
I don't think the Most High would allow that to happen to his elect.
But I'm just saying, brother. I'm just saying. I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people. You'd be surprised how many people can come out and say what happened to them, man. It's ridiculous.
One time I did that, I rejected a man. Came out, I was teaching by myself in Brixton.
Yeah, I remember you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's from the city. He's in the city is Jakes. They're Israelites, but they're like a lower caste in India.
Yeah, calm. Oh yeah.
And he must have told me that he was molested.
Yeah.
But he was flowing with me in the spirit. But at the time, I think he said that if a man has been sodomized, that he can't come back. He can't come out of that. So I must have told him that, you're done. When he told me that he was being molested, my spirit is kind of against him. Like, I'm kind of like, it don't feel right speaking with him. So, and he walked away, innit? I saw him on the other side of the street.
Right.
But I felt bad, man. I shouldn't have done that. And I repent for that story.
Yeah, but you grow, brother. You grow because it happens, man. Like for example, things happen to people. but you can repent. The scripture says all sins can be forgiven, but the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. You know, and the thing that happened to that dude, he didn't have no power over that.
Yeah.
You know, he was touched. It was out of his control. You know, when you're 5, 6, 7 years old, you ain't thinking about having sex with nobody. Yeah, go on.
Because what helps me is that when the Most High, as Elder Yahawah always says, when you sin, he doesn't. The Most High don't care what happens to you no more. Like once he's cast you out, even of his own children, you know, the tribes, then you're now open to all the judgment that's going to befall you. So that when I think about that, it kind of, you know, I don't feel so bad because it's judgment on them. The heathens get judgments. The heathens get it, and they do it to each other anyway. So when that person, when he was an older man, he could have done it before in his other previous life. He could have been,
because I do think about that too.
he could have been doing it himself, and then when he's a young child now, that judgment come back on him.
Yeah.
So that's why all this they do it to each other. But for the Most High's elect, or not elect, for the Most High's children, that's because that's a judgment that they've been cast out because of their rebelliousness. So it's a judgment.
I mean, yeah, you could say that, but I'm just saying though, man. Like it's become a pandemic where it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if man's wanted to have kids, hey, you know, you gotta worry about these things, man. And I mean, like, you know, even the brothers that's in the truth. I mean, obviously the Lord takes care of brothers anyway, but I'm just speaking for myself. Hey, man, it's a blessing. I don't have no kids.
Right.
In this stage of the game, because, you know, it's so many cases, man. Like visualize you coming home and your son, you know, he came home before you and he's got something to tell you. And, you know, you don't really want to hit. And that's why a lot of parents, they just shut it off. They don't want to really focus on it and talk about it. Because it's hard, man. It's hard to do it as a parent. That's why they just shut it at times. But this is the stuff that happens. But this is why Esau has to come out of power.
Yeah.
Because with him being in power, he's perpetuating all of this nonsense, man. He's perpetuating all of this confusion, all of this sexual animalistic behavior.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and what I believe as to why this is going on is simply because, according to the scriptures, a man is supposed to have multiple women. You understand? So I mean, like, you know, certain men have a high sexual drive. So if a man's just dealing with one woman, and it's not even just that, it's the society as a whole that we live in, because the society pushes that vibration of sex.
Yeah.
Sex.
Baphomet.
That's all society pushes all the time. So when you turn on your TV, what are you seeing? You're seeing a woman that's showing a piece of her flesh. Or you watching the music video, she's shaking her ass. And you know, you have young people looking at this stuff, thinking that it's cute, when it's really destroying them. So when you're involved in a highly sexual society, you're gonna have these situations where people are gonna, you know, do the unthinkable. And plus, this society is filled with all kind of spirits and demons and all of that, man. You know? But this is why this devil gotta go down. And this is why we're reaching the point of seeing the ending of this world. Because we're at the end of this world. The signs are there to show that the moon is showing itself. The sun is showing itself. All of these signs are indicators of the ending of this world. It has to go. It can't get any. It can, but I'm just saying. You know, it's really bad, man. It's bad out here. Go on, brother.
And that's why the scripture say in Matthew 24, if there shall be no flesh, be saved.
Yeah.
This place was to continue because it's wicked out here.
It's getting worse by the minute, man. It's like, go on, brother.
This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Yeah.
But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yeah. So I mean, if people are mourning and weeping due to what's going on, how can you just be a person? How can you be a man and how can you be a woman in this decrepit environment, man? Because in this environment, you as a woman, you're told or conditioned from a young girl to shake your ass. Your value is based on how big your ass is. Or as a man, your value is based on how much you get, how much you provide. Your value should be based on the content of your character. That's what's supposed to be valuable. You see, a guy could have money, a chick could have a big ass, but they have a disgusting attitude. They have a horrible sense of character. because they're so horrible, the character is so disgusting, they wind up in disgusting situations. You know, because see, society likes, you know, make great emphasis of you being successful and all the above, but success really comes from building within yourself. Like, for example, we may not be rich, we may not, you know, be driving a Rolls Royce or whatever, right? But we're at peace within ourselves. So that's where success comes from. It all starts within. So once you build on yourself, like the scripture says, rent not your garments, but rent your hearts. So once you rent your hearts and you build on you, now we're talking. Now we're talking who's valuable. All right? Because you got people that have made it large in the society, and they're miserable as hell. They're not even living their life, man. You'd be surprised. You may see a guy, he's driving a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini, but he's miserable as fuck, man. Because the guy's probably in debt by millions of dollars or whatever. Go on, brother.
This is 1 Timothy's 2 and 6.
Yeah.
And 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Yeah.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So we don't need to be concerned about what society's telling us, because society is saying, well, you know, you gotta get with these people, and you know, you gotta accept the alphabetical people, you know, those people, right? And you gotta go to school, you gotta go to college, and you know, you gotta do all of this stuff, right? But then when you do all of this stuff, now all of a sudden you become homeless on the street. So what was all of that being told to do this and do that for? It was all a waste of time. They were selling you that so that you could be brainwashed into the system, and they can condition you the way they see fit for their new world order system. That's what they were doing. But let's read that again, because I want to talk about something else. I want to recap on something else that I was just thinking about.
But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Yeah, read that one more time.
What verse, chapter and verse? I know.
1 Timothy's 6 and 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Right, with godliness and with contempt is great gain. So if you're content with what the Lord provided you with, especially this truth here, then that's godliness. This is what increases our value as men. Not how many women you done slept with, not how much money you got in the bank account. That don't determine your valuability. What determines your valuability is if you know the truth. Look how many guys out there, like the Apostle Paul did a video on high value men, what the high value man is. Due to this individual, you know, he has this, yeah, something like that. And I checked out this video, right? Ages ago, I forgot his name too. But you know, he's talking about a high value male, and basically, like if you make certain amount of money, you can get this kind of chick. Which he's right about that. That's true. But what I'm saying is when all hell breaks loose, and when this society is no more, what else are these women going to rely on? Are they going to rely on Chad over there that's got the Lamborghini and he's got, you know, as they say, he's cute and all this other stuff? Or are they going to try to find a real man that can protect them from all of the elements that's going on? So this is when this is going to come in and be more valuable. And what makes us more valuable is because we know this world. We know what life is all about. See, a lot of people don't know what life is all about. A lot of people can't make that broad statement. But we can make such a broad statement. We know how people are. We already know the score. We know way more than an 80-year-old knows. An 80-year-old compared to us, he's simple. He don't know anything. So this is what makes us valuable. Like I said, it's not about how much money you got. That's what society has been pushing for years. Oh, you got wife and kids, and you got this, and you got your house, and you know you're good, and everything else. That's not what makes you valuable. What makes you valuable is what you know. Okay, your sense of knowledge. Do you have integrity? Do you have some level of self-respect? Do you have respect for your brethren? How do you treat people? These are the things that we should be looking at. Not how much a person's got. Because we don't know we don't know how that person got that. We don't know. All right, but what we do know is this. These people at the very top, they deal with sorcery, they do witchcraft, and they messing with young boys and the young girls. All right? And they all into Satanism, so we do know that. So is it really, are these celebrities really as what they portray to be? No, they're not, because the information is already out as to what they've been up to all these years. And you still got people looking up to these jackasses. Go on, brother.
This is Proverbs 3:31. Envy no, not the wicked, not the oppressor.
Beautiful.
Envy no, not the oppressor.
Right.
And choose none of his ways.
Envy none of the wicked, and envy not the oppressor. Because at the end of the day, the oppressor is going to pay for their judgment, pay for what they've done. And it's going to be astronomical. So yeah, they sitting on trillions of dollars and pounds or whatever have you, right? And they driving nice cars, they living in palaces and living in different castles, you know, our ancestors made that were dwelling in Europe at one time. Yeah, they got it all going on, but guess what? What's going to be after all of that? Great astronomical judgment that we can't even comprehend what's coming to their ass. And when they come back, they're going to be enslaved by us. And they're going to get an ass whoop for 1,000 years straight. You understand what I'm saying? So they got it going on right now, but they're going to pay it later on. We got to look at the end result. It's always that end result. When that end result come in, that's what it's all about, baby. So just because a guy is doing it and he's riding, you know, he's riding nice cars and you know, you got these rappers and these Hollywood, you know, movie makers and shit like that, they living it up. Eventually, they're not going to make it. They're going to have to face up to what they did. And also, pursuant to the scriptures, what is it? I believe it's in 1 Corinthians, just the 5th chapter, when we all appear before the judgment seat, the Lord is going to see every single thing about us. He's going to see what we've already did already. So you're going to have to go before your maker knowing that you was a sodomite, or knowing that you sodomite other children, or knowing that you prostituted your own women, or whatever. Whatever you did, you're going to have to go before the Most High with all of that. So you got people out here thinking that they're getting away scot-free from what they've done, but not realizing that judgment is coming to collect, man. Karma's coming to collect, as they say. That's what's coming. That's what's getting ready to happen. And this is why, for the longest time, they always been saying to us, so you got to forget about slavery. Who are the damn I'm talking about? These so-called white people. All right? These Edomites. They've always been saying that, so you got to forgive and forget and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, as they used to call us, right? As they used to say. Because they never wanted to deal with what their forefathers had done. They never wanted to go back to the past and deal with what they've done to the North American Indians, how they slaughtered them and took over their land. They never wanted to deal with how they treated us. When they grabbed us from wherever they carried us from, put us on ships, and if the ones of us that was rebellious on them ships, they would toss us into the oceans and the shark would get us. They don't want to talk about that. Or how we were lynched on trees.